when that's going on.
When do you think NBA hoop is what we get back first?
No, I think hoop is going to be the last one we get back. And we had the story this
after football.
Oh no! The last we get back, that got interrupted.
Okay,
that got interrupted because we have the story this weekend that the NBA is going to try to have bubble teams, bubble cities, like a couple of cities where they have teams live and play the rest of the regular season schedule in, as they're trying to do anything to complete this season. And I look at NBA like this because I think it was a very big thing for LeBron on Friday night to do that podcast with Richard Jefferson and say, hey, we're nothing without the fans, where I'm not high-fiving anybody anymore. What's it going to be like if I'm going for a loose ball against somebody who I know had coronavirus? And every time LeBron talks, there's a reason for that. And I think LeBron was firing that first salvo to Commissioner Silver and everything about, you guys can talk about making all these plans about when we're going to come back and pushing us to come back to play with no fans and all this stuff, but we're not coming back until we're ready. And you forget about that part of it where obviously the teams want to come back. Teams are losing money. They want to come back. They have television contracts and everything else. And the owners are going to say, hey, let's play these games. We just won't have fans. And the players are going to raise their hand and go, well, hang on a second, hang on. So it's not safe for the fans to come because we don't want them, but us banging bodies with each other and actually swapping body fluid and sweat, that's okay? Oh, hang on. I don't know that we're ready for that. I think we have to be really cognizant that once even they get we can have public gatherings again, that players in all sports, whether it's the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball, go, wait, are we sure we're all really safe? And I don't know that we're ready to come back right now. Just because you say you want us to come back and we'll play in empty stadiums, that's not social distancing. It's not a lot of things. I think the players are going to be a little bit more nervous about saying, hey, we're ready to come back and play right now. Obviously, they all want to play, right? They all want to play. They want to get back. They want to get back to doing what they're doing and what they love. And everybody wants to get back to doing what they're doing and what they love. But in the end, when you're faced with it, they're going to say, we want to make sure this is absolutely safe. And is it absolutely safe if you're quarantining us in cities and we're with each other and we're playing games against other people from other cities where we're interacting with 25 or 30 people differently on a day where there's close body contact? That's something that I think a lot of players are going to go, yeah, I don't know, I'm ready for that right now.
There's a couple things. I'm going to totally disagree with you about LeBron. I think LeBron's spoken out of his ass several times in this deal, and he looks foolish. You know, the whole I don't want to play in front of no fans. We understand, buddy. But the realities of it are that the NBA needs you to be on television. It's not ideal, less than ideal. But the NBA's ratings have been crushed. One reason was LeBron James left the Eastern Conference, right? And again, would you prefer to play in front of 20,000? Sure. But, oh, yeah, by the way, your fans also watch on TV, right? And worldwide, there's nothing going on. One, the NBA wants to be back on because it helps the ratings. Two, because we kind of need something else on TV. And if anything, it'll help all of these guys' brands. But the idea, like LeBron, he was the first to backpedal when he was first asked about it in the locker room. When this first came up, I'm not playing in front of no fans. I won't show up. And then like 2 days later, he's like, if we had to play in front of no fans. Now he's on Richard Jefferson's podcast. Like the NBA's got to figure out, and Mark Cuban's been ahead of this, they got to figure out a way to get on TV. People need sports, and the NBA needs it for all of their business partners, as well as to help their own brand. I think personally they'll be the first ones back. But the hard part is going to be, how long does it take to get them up and going, ready to play? Probably 2 weeks before you can play any sort of game, and then you're talking 3 or 4 weeks before you could ever get to any sort of playoffs. So you're looking at, June to June 15th at the earliest to see basketball games, playoff basketball games being played.
I said for a while that golf and NASCAR will come back first, just because of the social distancing they can have. If you're a NASCAR driver, you're in your car by yourself, obviously your pit crew is together, but if you can figure out a way to social distance and be, that'll work. Golf, you're out, you're in fresh air, you can social distance from your caddy if you need to. All these things can happen. Baseball, I think, will come back because it's also an outdoor sport. There's the least amount of body contact than there is in the other sports, but I look at the NBA and I look at the NHL and MLS, and I think how are they gonna do it when it's that close body contact where the Rudy Gobert, because it scared everybody. That the scare came from the NBA. The scare didn't come from Major League Baseball or the other sport.
I don't
the
know
whole
if they're
country shut
scared.
down because of Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, no, I understand, but I don't, because Rudy Gobert, he had the symptoms where he couldn't smell or taste, whatever. But because we didn't see them visibly sick and feel like they were actually really sick, I don't know if that resonates to the NBA players the way you think it hits them the way you think it does. I just don't. Those guys, they are like, I'm probably asymptomatic. I probably had it already. Most of those guys think they already had it already. I mean, perfect example is, as contagious as this is, and it's really, really contagious. Utah Jazz had 2 guys that had it. The rest of the team, they touched the same basketball. They were on the same team. Only one other guy had it. And so I don't think that that's not NBA players. Do I think that they're in a league that is generally super cautious and maybe even to the point of being, to like left-leaning, liberal, like let's be super, super safe? I think that's the persona of the league. But of each individual player, I don't think any of these guys think they would get legitimately sick. I think they think it like the guys think of it like it's the flu. Like, all right, it goes to the team, everybody has it, we move on. That's how they think of it. I didn't say that's the reality.
No, I get, but
I'm saying that's how dudes think of it.
I disagree, but I also think the more we start seeing people who are dying of it, it gets a little bit more real. The more times you see people die that you know who they are. Joe Diffie, big country music, one of the biggest stars in country music in the 90s. He passed away over the weekend. Yeah. We saw a couple of college basketball stars, pass away. Healthy guys in their mid 40s. One guy played for St. John's, and he got it at DJing at a party. And he was a former cop, was 49 years old, no symptoms. I mean, that's a tough thing. Once we start seeing, oh boy, because it's going to unfortunately happen, because that's going to get to be more realistic for everybody.
Think of the NBA and of the traumatic moments in a basketball player. In my lifetime, okay, I remember Len Bias dying, which was like, don't ever use cocaine, right? I remember Magic getting HIV, which is always have protected set. Like you don't learn these lessons until you see these people. And Magic, frankly, still being alive and being healthy is amazing, considering everybody I know thought he was going to die and thought he was going to get AIDS, and he hasn't. And then there's been other. I'm trying to think. There's one other one. Who's the other one I'm thinking? Oh, and Hank Gathers, right? Which is like, hey, when there's a heart problem, like you got to take it serious and shut it. Like you don't. Until you see somebody who you idolize, you think is bigger than life, fall ill to it, or drop dead from it, I don't know if that really resonates, hits the way it hits, people that are really paying attention. I agree with you. Like, you're seeing legit people, not senior citizens 80 years old, get sick. The Queen Elizabeth, I think, has it.
Yeah.
Right? Queen Elizabeth has it.
But remember, this is the end of March. We still got to go through the teeth of this. This is still this. I know
there's
it's been 2 weeks.
There's a working group of people that think they've already had it.
And
you know what? Man, I had this cough.
Yeah.
In December.
But
I swear to God, I got tested for everything. I couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think a lot of people have had it, and it's gone through their system, and it's gone. I firmly, because how could you not? I mean, with the way we travel from country to country and people talk and you're close with each other and the hugs and everything that you give. I mean, I firmly believe that. But still, we still have to go through. The numbers are going to go up for this. I mean, so I know it's like, well, it's been 2 weeks. What do we got? And it's like, no, it's been 2 weeks, and it's still going to be another month. I mean, look, President Trump just continued this social distancing and through the beginning of May now, when he thought we can reopen the country on Easter Sunday. So we still have to go through more of this. This is not, okay, now we're at it, we've seen it, I understand it. People will get into a better groove of, okay, I got this now. I get what this life is now. This is, we're going to be home, we're going to do this, and X, Y, and Z. We go to the store, one of us will go, we're going to do it, and we're going to get into that groove. But this is not nearly going to be over where it's okay, after a couple of weeks now, we're just going to play out the string until we can start playing again. I mean, it's we got to continue to buckle down here, because we still have another month or two to get through this at least.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I'm not a denier of when you have really smart people saying, "Hey, this is going to get really bad." Like they wouldn't be shutting everything down. But I also think that we have, when you're having the Steve Ballmers put together $25 million, $10 million of which is going to research in Seattle, and you have some of these factories changing and making respirators. I don't know. I'm one of those expect the worst but hope for the best. I do think that without sounding kind of cheeseball nationalist, I do think we put our minds to it. Like there'll be a turning point here in the next week or two where between the numbers starting to level off some, which I think they're still obviously going to spike, the numbers starting to level off, and then the number of respirators that are being made. Like we just, we sent a bunch apparently to China to help them when this first broke out. We just got to get that thing up and running. And, now you got these hospital ships in New York, in LA. Look, it's going to be less than ideal for a while, but I do think that this ultimately will work, and we're going to have sports in the spring. I don't know if we'll send our kids back to school. I'm convinced we'll have some sort of sport-ish getting back together in May. There's just too much money. That's the big thing. It's just too much money that's left on the table, and people have to work. And, when you're start talking about several different commas and major corporations losing massive amounts of money, I think even if for the wrong reason, that's the reason, we will get back to being ourselves sooner rather than later.